Question is, if, like those people who are, talking about when they're 15, when they're 17 and 12, these certain things were said to them, do they, for them to get past it and to heal, do they address these issues now? Do they go and talk to their parents now and say, when you're 15, you said this and it made me feel this way and I've struggled with this? Or do they just understand, like Bobby said, that, again, maybe at the time they were doing life for the first time, etc., maybe they've made changes and let's just respect the changes they've made. Now your story, Ishe.
Well, I think that even when you're 40, words still have a way of getting to you. Because normally it depends on who says what. That's why you'll see people walk out of a marriage, a relationship, because they won't believe that the person they give their heart said that.
Right.
And when Shaz is talking about the analytical mind, when somebody says something about you, you begin to process. Like, it's not just what he said. Is this what he's been thinking all this while? Is this the reason why he acted this way or the other way? So it normally opens up a lot. So you find friends. One person will say something that is very hurtful, and the other person will keep on saying, I'm not angry with them, but I don't feel like having them back in my life, because they're still trying to process that. Like, where did this thought come from? You want to go back to the seed of that thought. Like, nobody just wakes up and says, Bobby, you're like this. That's what my mind will tell me, that this thing must have been premeditated. So even when you're 40 or something, there are people who will have been married for 20 years and their partner will say something and they will feel, this is what you felt all this while. And it takes a lot of convincing for them to even come to the place of, well, it was just in the heat of the moment. It just puts a responsibility on us on words that we speak. Like, you've got to think about it, no matter what you're feeling. But coming back to whether they should go back and talk to their parents, that also depends on several other factors. Are the parents the kind of people that you can actually go back to and have a conversation?
In terms of temperament or?
Well, even just connection.
Okay.
Even just the connection. Whereas somebody can treat you in a certain way at 10, that even when you're 60, you still feel the same way around them. You would feel powerful everywhere and walk around this person, and they may not even have what you have.
Right.
But the way they treated you when you were 10, you came around them and you feel you're this little boy who comes and shrinks. So you'll hear people talk about, they still do not know how to talk to their parents and raise issues, because some of them grew up under so much fear. They have so much fear for their parents, no matter how successful they are everywhere else, that they wouldn't even know how to begin that conversation. Sometimes then it's just good to reach out to somebody else and talk to them about how you feel. And I think this is why we've got therapists, we've got coaches, and people don't like coming to us, but they always want to self-medicate.
Google.
Yeah, but this is the reason why you have, so that you can have conversations somewhere where you wouldn't have a conversation elsewhere. And even when you go back to have the conversation, either with your parent or the sibling, you are coming from a healed place to have that conversation. You come from a point of understanding as well. And you're ready for any reaction. You're ready for them to be defensive. You're ready for them to react as well, whichever way. But you're
to have selective amnesia.
Yeah, but you're a bit more prepared for that conversation, because coming from a healed place, you're doing it for you, not even for them. You're not trying to put them in a place where they've got to feel guilty. And I think that's why when Shaz started and said, we're not expected to, there's this delicate balance of how much do I bring out about family matters. Whatever happens in the family stays in the family.
Yeah.
So how much do I bring out? If I sit here and say I went through abuse, the repercussions of that. There's so many other people who are involved, yet that is my truth. But then what happens now to the other people? And sometimes those situations have also been handled at the family levels. So it's something that people have talked about. They have gone past it, but it is still your story. So you don't know the balance of, should I bring it up? Will it take us back to where we used to be? Yet I still feel this. So I think it's really a complex thing for most people. But where there has been openness from the very start, or where people have learned to be a bit more open, like Roberta was saying, nowadays the parents can talk in a different way. I had you say the same thing as well. Where there's more openness and people have more knowledge, then those conversations can be had. Then you can always go back. And it doesn't have to be a formal setting like, we need to talk, Dad, we need to talk. It's very tense. It could just be...
Even on a drive.
Yeah.
It could just be, and as simple as, I really appreciate that nowadays you let me talk to you, because when I was growing up, I felt you didn't give me that opportunity. So it's an informal and a light talk, but the message
Is there.
is there.
I have